Nvidia AMD to pay US 15% of China chip revenues in a new deal. Semiconductor giants Nvidia and AMD have agreed to pay the US government 15% of their revenues from chip sales to China as part of an arrangement with the Trump administration to secure export licenses, according to a Financial Times report published Sunday. The revenue-sharing deal involves Nvidia sharing 15% of revenues from its H20 chip sales in China and AMD providing the same percentage from MI308 chip revenues. This arrangement comes as both companies seek to restore access to one of their largest markets after months of export restrictions. Export license revival following policy reversals. The agreement follows a significant policy shift by the Trump administration, which had initially banned even compliant chips like the H20 and MI308 in April 2025 before reversing course in July. Both companies receive assurances that export licenses would be approved after intensive lobbying efforts, including meetings between Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang and President Trump. AMD confirmed in July that the Department of Commerce informed the company that license applications to export MI308 products to China would move forward for review. The company had projected revenue losses of approximately $800 million due to the export restrictions. Nvidia faced even steeper losses, with a $4.5 billion charge related to H20 excess inventory and purchase obligations. The policy reversal represents a notable shift from the Trump administration's initial hardline stance, which Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described as using export controls as a negotiating chip in broader U.S.-China trade talks. Broader trade framework context. The semiconductor arrangement appears linked to a broader trade framework between the U.S. and China that was finalized in June 2025. Under that agreement, China committed to resume exports of rare earth elements and magnets to the U.S. in exchange for the U.S. lifting various restrictive measures. The rare earth deal was particularly critical as China's export restrictions imposed in April had caused severe supply chain disruptions, forcing U.S. and European manufacturers to halt automobile production. Chinese rare earth exports to the U.S. surged 660% in June following the trade agreement. Market impact and industry response. Both companies' stocks responded positively to the export license news, with AMD shares rising nearly 7% and Nvidia shares gaining 5% when the approvals were announced in July. The Chinese market represents significant revenue potential for both companies, with Nvidia estimating it could earn $15 billion from China in the second half of 2025. Industry observers note that while the H20 and MI308 chips are deliberately less powerful than top-tier models to comply with U.S. export controls, they still provide valuable computing power for Chinese AI development while generating crucial revenue for U.S. companies to fund further innovation. The revenue-sharing arrangement, if confirmed, would represent an unprecedented direct financial benefit to the U.S. government from American companies' overseas chip sales, though Reuters noted it could not immediately verify the Financial Times report.